All right, let's dive into something that you and I are a part of every single day, whether we think about it or not: economic markets. I mean, from the coffee you grabbed this morning to the phone in your hand, markets are quietly shaping our choices, the prices we pay, and pretty much our whole world. So let's pull back the curtain and see how it all really works. Have you ever stopped to think about this? You walk into a supermarket and you're staring at a wall of like 50 different kinds of toothpaste. But then if you want to catch a train, there's usually just one option, right? Well, that's not some random accident. It's all about how these different markets are built. And to figure out that puzzle, we got to get on the same page about what a market even is.
So, when you hear an economist say the word market, they're not necessarily picturing a big building with stalls and people shouting. It's a much bigger idea than that. The key word here is interaction. That's it. A market is really just any space, physical, online, wherever, where buyers and sellers come together to trade something. You need buyers, you need sellers, you need a product, and most important of all, you need some form of competition. And that word competition, that's the real secret sauce here. See, not all markets are created equal. You can think of them as existing on a spectrum, kind of like a sliding scale. On one end, you've got insane cutthroat competition, and on the other end, well, none at all. So, economists usually break this spectrum down into these four big categories. We're going to take a little tour, starting from the most competitive you can possibly imagine, and walk all the way down to the least. And the best way to really get it is to start by looking at the two extremes first. Yep, to really wrap our heads around this whole spectrum, it helps to look at the polar opposites first. A world with perfect, intense competition on one side, and a world with a pure monopoly, where competition just doesn't exist, on the other. Okay, so perfect competition. This is more of a textbook idea, a theoretical perfect world. Just imagine a market with tons and tons of tiny sellers, and every single one of them is selling the exact same thing. No one is big enough or special enough to change the price. They just have to take whatever price the market is offering that day. And this is a great way to picture it. While a truly perfect market is almost impossible to find, farming gets pretty close. Think about it. One farmer's bushel of wheat is pretty much identical to another's. A single farmer can't just decide to charge double. No one would buy it. They're what we call price takers. They take the price, they don't make it.
Now let's jump all the way to the other side: a monopoly. You can even hear it in the name. Mono means single, and poly means seller. Here, one company is the entire market. There's nobody else to buy from, and there's nothing else quite like what they're selling.
This is a perfect real-world example. In India, if you want to go by train, you're using Indian Railways, period. There's no Railways B to choose from. And that gives them a huge amount of control over fares and services. Remember how the farmers were price takers? Well, these guys are price makers.
You know, putting them side by side like this makes it all crystal clear. Perfect competition, tons of sellers, identical stuff, anyone can jump in, and nobody controls the price. Monopoly, one seller, a unique product, nearly impossible for anyone else to get in the game, and that one company holds all the cards when it comes to price.
And if you're a visual person, these graphs tell the whole story. Look at that flat line on the left for perfect competition. It means the company can sell all it wants, but only at that one market price. Now look at the monopolies curve on the right. It's sloping down, which means they get to pick their price. Of course, if they set it too high, they'll sell less, but the choice, the control is theirs.
Okay, so those are the two extremes, the bookends of our spectrum. But let's be real. Most of the markets we deal with every day are somewhere in the middle. These are the ones you're going to recognize instantly. First up is monopolistic competition. I know, the name is a little confusing, sounds like a contradiction, right? But the idea is actually super simple. You have a lot of sellers, just like in perfect competition, but, and this is the big but, their products are all a little bit different. They're all trying to convince you their version is special. And there it is, our toothpaste aisle. All these things, toothpaste, soap, soda, even restaurants, they all do basically the same job, but they fight it out over branding, flavor, quality, or just cool packaging. Think about it, Pepsi versus Coke. They're super similar, but people have really strong opinions about which one is better, right? This quote just nails it. This is the heart of the whole thing. Each company is trying to create its own little mini monopoly for its unique version of the product. They want you to believe that their shampoo is the only one that will make your hair shine like that, which gives them just a little bit of power to charge a little bit more. And that brings us to our last stop, the oligopoly.
This is a market that's run by just a handful of huge companies. The key word you have to remember here is interdependent. Since there are only a few big players, everything one company does, say cutting its prices, forces the others to react. It's like a high-stakes game of chess where every move is being watched.
And you see this in these huge, massive industries where it costs a fortune just to get started. I mean, think about what it takes to build a car factory or launch a new airline. It's billions of dollars. That high cost creates a natural wall, leaving just a few giants, like the big car brands, the major airlines, or your cell phone company, to battle it out. Their decisions basically set the rules for everyone else.
So we've walked across the entire spectrum. But so what? What's the big takeaway here? Why does any of this stuff actually matter to you and me?
Well, it really boils down to something this simple. The more competition you have in a market, the better it usually is for us, the consumers, right? More competition means more choices and lower prices. And the less competition there is, the more power companies have to charge higher prices and give us fewer options.
The market structure really does affect everything. It's why some companies spend billions on Super Bowl ads and others don't. It drives how much they invest in creating new and better products. And at the end of the day, it decides just how much power you have when you pull out your wallet.
So, I'll just leave you with this to chew on. Now that you know about these four structures, in which one do you, the person buying the stuff, hold the most power? The answer to that question really tells you a lot about the economic world we navigate every single day. Thanks for joining me.